Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network provides the support for DCTV.
Here at the News at Noon show, we assemble the best and most interesting news we can find from the area, and Jerry Tope brings you the local weather and related news. Give us a call with news tips or topics you'd like to see covered. The number is 677-4119.
We appreciate that you're watching DCTV. Today's show is live on Monday at noon and rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m. and again re-aired on Thursday at noon, 2:30 and 8. It's December 5th, 2016. Here's the news at noon. Road closure ahead. According to the Cortez Journal report, the intersection of County Road BB and U.S. Highway 491 is reportedly one of the most dangerous in the state, and local officials plan to change that by eliminating it. Under a preliminary plan by the Colorado Department of Transportation and Montezuma County, by next year, Road BB south of Pleasant View will no longer meet up with U.S. Highway 491. Traffic will instead be directed to Road CC, a half-mile north. County Road Manager Rob Engelhardt said there have been bad accidents and fatalities there. The problem with the intersection is the limited line of sight for vehicles taking a left from the highway onto Road BB. A slight hill on the highway obstructs the view of southbound oncoming traffic, which can be traveling 65 miles an hour and often faster. By the time they see you turning left, it's often too late to brake or get out of the way in time, Engelhardt said. Under a preliminary agreement with CDOT, Montezuma County has agreed to completely close off the intersection. In return, CDOT would pay $630,000 to chip seal County Road 15 to get travelers back to Road BB from Road CC. Besides accessing farms and residences, Road BB is also a main route for visitors to Canyons of the Ancients and Hovenweep National Monuments via Road 10. New signs by the National Park Service will be installed to direct travelers to Road CC, then south to Road 15. From there, they will travel Road BB to Road 10 and on to public lands. Engelhardt said closing the intersection is expected to begin in spring. An earlier plan to make Road BB a right-in, right-out only has been dropped in favor of closing it, he said. The worry is that northbound traffic will make a U-turn on the highway to access the road, adding to safety problems. The county and CDOT also want to make nearby Road 16 a right-in, right-out only, where it intersects with the highway to improve safety there. In other road news, next year Kinder Morgan will spend $1.5 million to repave 4.2 miles of Road CC from the highway. The road is a main truck route for the company to access its CO2 infrastructure in the area. From the end of the new asphalt, the county plans to chip seal Road CC to Road 10. In 2018, the county plans to chip seal Road 10 to Road BB from Road CC. Also in 2018, the county is planning to begin chip sealing Road P between Colorado 145 and US 491, which has seen a dramatic increase in traffic.
According to the Cortez Journal, a former Durango man pleaded guilty Wednesday in connection with a child sex sting conducted earlier this year by local law enforcement and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. In a plea agreement with the 6th Judicial District Attorney's Office, Timur Uranov, 31, pleaded guilty to contributing to the delinquency of a minor by encouraging a child to commit prostitution. The felony charge doesn't exactly match the offense, but it will require Uranov to register as a sex offender. Formal sentencing is set for January 27th before District Court Judge Suzanne Carlson. Uranov is one of 6 men to face charges on suspicion of attempted solicitation of a child. The men responded to ads posted April 25th through 27th on internet sites such as Craigslist.com and Backpage.com. Once lured in, the men were offered sex with children in exchange for money. The men went to varying lengths to carry out the alleged crimes, with some exchanging money and others getting cold feet and driving away. Uranov is a Russian speaker and not a citizen of the United States. It was unclear where he holds citizenship. He is free on $50,000 bail and is living in Denver. It is also unclear what impact, if any, his guilty plea will have on his residency in the U.S. He is the 4th man to plead guilty in connection with the sex sting. According to court documents and preliminary hearing testimony, Uranov agreed to pay $125 for an hour of sex with a 14-year-old girl. He drove to Albertsons for an initial meeting with a woman he believed was the girl's mother, and then drove to Durango Lodge, where he exchanged money with undercover agents. He was arrested in the hotel parking lot.
How would you like to stay off the main roads and travel all around the western slope? The Cortez Journal reported that Montezuma County commissioners have requested that the Bureau of Land Management work with them on an idea to create a backcountry recreation route from Cortez to Montrose. Commissioner Larry Don Suckla, an avid cyclist, is keen on the idea of linking the county to the multi-use Rimrocker Trail, a 160-mile route that connects Montrose with Moab, Utah on back roads, ATV routes, and trails. Suckla pointed out that from Moab, riders could continue on the popular Cocopelli Trail, a 140-mile mountain bike route to Loma near Grand Junction. He said, "I want to work with the various counties to figure out a trail alignment. We could have a trail system that connects Cortez with Grand Junction." Connie Clemenson, field manager for the BLM's Tres Rios office, said the agency is open to proposals. Suckla envisions a combination of single-track, public land roads, and side-by-side ATV trails to allow for multiple-use recreation. County staff was directed to begin looking into possible routes. The county is advocating for an expanded local outdoor recreation economy, including a proposed 17-mile trail from Cortez to Mancos and for additional trails at Phil's World east of Cortez. Mountain biking is a key component of a surging recreation industry that contributes an estimated $641 billion per year to the U.S. economy, according to the Outdoor Industry Association. The Rimrocker Trail provides four-wheel drive, OHV, and mountain biking access through a landscape of remote red rock canyons, winding rivers, desert vistas, and alpine forests. Large portions of the trail are rough, narrow, and steep, especially the section from Nukla to Moab. For more information, go to the rimrockertrail.org website. The Dove Creek Chamber is working with the Moab to Montezuma Trails Alliances and governmental groups as the plan develops to enhance this area as a biking destination.
According to the Cortez Journal, wildlife officers say someone shot and killed 11 big game animals in eastern Colorado and left the carcasses to rot. Colorado Parks and Wildlife said Thursday 9 antelope and 2 deer were killed with firearms November 11th through 12th near the town of Siebert, about 130 miles east of Denver. Spokesman Kyle Davidson says it's one of the most egregious poaching cases the agency has seen in some time. Investigators are offering a reward of up to $5,000 for information. Prosecutors could file charges of willful destruction of wildlife. Neither animal was in season for rifle hunting. Even in season, abandoning a carcass is illegal. Davidson says investigators believe at least 2 people were involved. He says a landowner's tip led to the discovery of the animals.
Emergency operations and other county businesses just gained a technological edge, according to a report in the Durango Herald. La Plata County recently purchased 2 unmanned aerial vehicles, or drones, and have placed bids on a third, larger device to improve the efficiency of emergency management, be it flood mapping, tracking wildfires, or carrying out summer's common task of retrieving adventurers stranded on mountains and in waterways. Emergency Management Coordinator Tom McNamara said, "These are really great tools to boost efficiency and safety. It's an aerial platform, something we don't have now. Whether climbing a cliff, climbing a roof, walking around a fire with a GPS, we can do that from the air with no risk to the human being. It makes the inaccessible accessible." The DJI Inspire, a 1.5-year-old model that cost $3,000 new, was purchased for about $2,000, and the second, a DJI Phantom 4, which came out in April, was purchased for $1,200. Their capabilities are the equivalent of cell phone cameras. They can shoot 4K ultra-high-definition video and 16-megapixel still photographs from the air. The smaller of the 2 models, the Phantom 4, runs about 30 minutes, while the Inspire has a 20-minute life. Emergency Management expects to pay about $6,000 for the third device, which will be a Matrix model able to carry 10 to 20 pounds, enough to deliver food, water, a GPS, and radio to someone in distress. In southwest Colorado, where the wilderness calls to many, the drones are expected to be a key component of the county's preparedness to handle the worst and unexpected. Butch Nalton, director of County Emergency Management, said the technology can detail a floodplain, guide someone out of an avalanche path or other dangerous terrain, and get footage beneath ledges and in eddies along rivers. Moreover, in some situations, the drones can replace helicopter flights, which cost the county $1,200 to $2,400 an hour. The equipment is intended to be a cross-departmental tool to also help the county assessor, engineer, code enforcement, road and bridge department, fire protection district, said Sheriff's Office. "I guess that means it's an eye in the sky, certainly a double-edged sword." County commissioners will hold a meeting next month to solicit public feedback on policy to address privacy protection, data retention, and terms of use for the new program. Commissioner Julie Westendorf said in a recent meeting, I know there will be a privacy concern there. I want to let people know on the front end we're respectful of privacy. Some kind of outreach with public feedback before we consider the policy. I don't want to have a room full of people concerned we're going to be spying in windows. The county will not launch the drones in a professional capacity until related policy is in place. Until then, emergency management officials certified to pilot the devices are practicing on private property. Last summer, the Federal Aviation Administration released new rules governing drones under 55 pounds, which loosened restrictions on who can pilot the machines in small civil operations. Training and a license is needed for commercial purposes. County staff interested in operating the drones are required to receive regulatory training through the FAA as well as practical training with the county on how to man the devices. Emergency Management has budgeted $40,000 for the program, including training and equipment, and is seeking exemptions from certain limitations the FAA imposes on the speed, altitude, and range of drone operations, as well as operational hours, which are restricted to daylight. By the time 2017's wildfires and other mishaps strike, emergency responders expect to have drones on their side to deal with them. So maybe your child learning to fly the mini drones can be more than annoying this holiday season. Perhaps they can be developing an actual job skill set.
According to the Cortez Journal, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers said Sunday that it won't grant an easement for the Dakota Access oil pipeline in southern North Dakota. The decision is a victory for the several thousand camped near the construction site who have said for months that the four-state, $3.8 billion project would threaten a water source and cultural sites. The pipeline is largely complete except for the now blocked segment underneath Lake Oahe, a Missouri River reservoir, according to a news release. Assistant Secretary for Civil Works Joe Ellen Darcy said her decision was based on the need to explore alternate routes for the pipeline's crossing. Although we have had continuing discussion and exchanges of new information with the Standing Rock Sioux and Dakota Access, it's clear that there's more work to do, Darcy said. The best way to complete that work responsibly and expeditiously is to explore alternate routes for the pipeline crossing. The company constructing the pipeline, Dallas-based Energy Transfer Partners, had said it was unwilling to reroute the project. It and the Morton County Sheriff's Office, which has done much of the policing of the protests, didn't have immediate comment. The federal government has ordered people to leave the main encampment, which is on Army Corps of Engineers land, by Monday, but demonstrators say they're prepared to stay and authorities say they won't forcibly remove them. And now here's our weather report.
A fast-moving cold front is now pushing toward our region and is now in the Uinta Mountains. By midnight, it is expected to stall just south of the I-70 corridor. Only 1 to 4 inches of snow are forecast across the northern mountains at this point. Winds are expected to run sustained at near 29 miles an hour, with gusts in the upper 50s ahead of and just behind that front. So, the northwest and northern parts of our state are to be impacted. Even with only 1 to 4 inches, winds like that mean blowing and drifting snow with likely poor ground level visibilities in those high passes today and into tomorrow. For our broadcast area, the southern portions and lower elevations are not likely to see much, if any, precip during the day. And the good news is that the drastically colder air in that system should not reach us today. A second front will be pushing in from the same direction tomorrow. With the one tomorrow and tomorrow night, we will have slight chances of snow and then later rain and snow into the night. Wednesday will see the system clearing away, and in the early hours of Thursday will be our coldest time of the winter so far, although some clouds are expected to pass through. From Thursday into the weekend, we're expecting to see warming conditions return. For tomorrow, the system already arriving here will deliver snow to our northeast, on the east side of the Rockies, and follow along with the front running through the northern plains and through the upper Mississippi Valley into tomorrow evening. In the northwest, the snows will continue into tomorrow morning with rain and snow. The front over the Gulf Coast will lift northward into the Tennessee Valley and the southeast by tomorrow morning, then move off the southeast coast by tomorrow evening. Moisture from the Gulf of Mexico will overrun that boundary and pool along the front, resulting in showers and thunderstorms over the western Gulf Coast and parts of the southeast. which will end over the western Gulf Coast by tomorrow morning. The showers and thunderstorms will be confined to the Florida Peninsula by tomorrow evening. Rain will also develop over parts of the southern plains into parts of the Carolinas. That will also end over the southern plains by tomorrow morning. The rain will lift into parts of the middle Mississippi Valley eastward into the southern mid-Atlantic overnight. By tomorrow evening, the rain will move into the Ohio Valley and lower Great Lakes and parts of the northern mid-Atlantic. Some snow may develop over the higher elevations of the central Appalachians and northern mid-Atlantic. Snow and rain now over parts of the Great Lakes and northeast into the mid-Atlantic will be confined to northern New England by this evening and ending by tomorrow morning. High temps will begin at 40 tomorrow and drop to near 30 for Wednesday and Thursday, then warm back to 40 and just above for Friday and Saturday. The lows, on the other hand, will not be so nice. Barely in double digits through Tuesday night and Wednesday near or even slightly below zero. Thursday is iffy but maybe a tad warmer, and mid-teens is the order for Friday and Saturday. We should be south of the worst of this week's spate of storms, but it will be more than cold enough nevertheless.
According to the Cortez Journal, increases in the minimum wage that will become effective in January may be a challenge for some small businesses. In November, voters approved an increase in the minimum wage from $8.31 per hour to $12 by 2020. The minimum wage for tipped workers will rise from $5.29 to $8.98 per hour. As the January increase approaches, which will be an initial 99-cent per hour boost, businesses need to assess their costs, said Bethany McManus, a consultant who works with some downtown businesses, including independent bars and restaurants. My only advice I can really give is they get out in front of it as soon as they can, she said. From year to year, sales for some bars and restaurants have been flat, so increasing prices or cutting hours may be the only immediate way to absorb the rise in wages, she said. She is concerned businesses may not see enough new sales from the increase in minimum wages, or those new sales may not come fast enough. In addition to the increase in wages, businesses will also see an annual increase in payroll taxes and insurance costs because they are based on wages, she said. For a small bar and restaurant with 15 employees working a combined average of 475 hours per work week, the increase will mean an additional $30,000 in costs during 2017, according to her estimates. By 2020, that business could be paying $100,000 more annually in wages, taxes, and insurance than it was in 2016, she said.
Average has come in at 404.38. Week before last was, of course, 403.98. 1 year ago, 400.75. And 10 years ago, 381.24. For today's eco and climate science bit, in the hopes of pricking your curiosity, I have a tiny little tidbit to tell you about. The one today indicates the tremendous potential for increasing our well-being and prosperity. Many of these come as a result of environmental sciences and supporting them. One of the largest boons to science has come from the study of global warming, but all eco-sciences and studies are extremely interlinked. Australian researchers have discovered remarkable adaptive changes to insulin regulation in two of the nation's most iconic native animal species, the platypus and the echidna, which could pave the way for new treatments for type 2 diabetes in humans. For the unaware, the existence of type 2 obviously is because there is a type 1, which is a quite different beast. And many in medical sciences are moving toward renaming type 2 as a metabolic disorder of a certain type because it is so divergent from type 1 diabetes. Research published in the Nature journal Scientific Reports reveals that the same hormone produced in the gut of the platypus to regulate blood glucose is also, surprisingly, produced in their venom. The research is led by Professor Frank Gutzner at the University of Adelaide and Associate Professor Brenny Forbes at Flinders University. The hormone, known as glucagon-like peptide 1, is normally secreted in the gut of both humans and animals, where it stimulates the release of insulin to lower blood glucose. GLP-1 typically degrades within minutes. In people with type 2 diabetes, the short stimulus triggered by GLP-1 isn't sufficient to maintain a proper blood sugar balance. As a result, medication that includes a longer-lasting form of the hormone is needed to help provide an extended release of insulin. The research team discovered that monotremes, Australia's iconic platypus and echidna, the echidna, sometimes called the spiny anteater, looks like a cross between an anteater and a hedgehog and kind of like a porcupine in appearance. These animals have an adaptive process regarding changes in the hormone GLP-1 that make it resistant to the rapid degradation normally seen in humans. That's according to co-lead author Professor Frank Gretzner from the University of Adelaide School of Biological Sciences and the Robinson Research Institute. The same hormone is present in the venom and gut of both creatures and is a long-lasting form that's very exciting and hopeful and helpful in understanding the treatment of type 2 diabetes. So here I have been thinking primarily of herbs and other plant-derived treatments in human health issues, and don't want our human activities to cut off availability of the magic in the botanical world. Some think only of hideous uses of animals in medical research and science research. But now, thanks to eco-sciences focused on saving them, we have more help coming for one of our greatest health enemies. Oh yes, the second tidbit tomorrow is plant-related. My thanks for your consideration of these matters.
According to the Cortez Journal, Montezuma County residents crowded into the Four Seasons greenhouse Thursday night for the 18th annual Taste of the Seasons event. Chefs from dozens of restaurants, bakeries, breweries, and other culinary establishments in Montezuma County go to Taste of the Seasons every year to show off their craft. This year, about 18 vendors served between 250 and 300 guests, in addition to the restaurants that provided food but didn't set up their own tables. With a $35 advance entry fee for each guest, the event raised more than $10,000, with the proceeds going to United Way. Gail and Vic Vanek, who own Four Seasons, started the event as a way to support organizations that help children in their community. Proceeds from the first Taste of the Seasons went to the Dolores Clubhouse for Youth, a new organization that didn't end up surviving long. For the last 11 years, they've raised funds for United Way of Southwest Colorado instead. United Way works with numerous organizations in Montezuma and the surrounding counties to bring educational, financial, and medical help to children. Vanek said since the greenhouse started hosting Taste of the Seasons, the event has raised more than $200,000 for the community. Though she didn't have the final numbers on Friday for how much they raised this year, she guessed it was about $12,000. Most of Montezuma County's most popular eateries were represented at this year's event, including the Farm Bistro, the Pie Maker, Main Street Brewery, Dolores Brewery, and many more. But some of the vendors were a little more unexpected, like the Montezuma Cortez High School Culinary Arts Program, which made its second appearance at the event. Last year, when the vendors competed for votes from guests, the high school students won second place. This year, there was no competition, but their table was still busy all night, Senior Alyssa Utley said the new high school building, which has a fully functional kitchen, has opened up many more opportunities for students to practice their culinary skills.
Bird watching in the Four Corners, officially a thing. The Cortez Journal reported bird watching, or birding, is among Colorado's most popular outdoor activities during the spring, summer, and fall months, but it doesn't stop during winter. The Cortez Christmas Bird Count, an annual event that local bird watchers have organized for decades, is scheduled this year for Monday, December 26th. Participants will meet at the Cortez Cultural Center in the morning, then split up into teams and drive around the Cortez area until sunset, documenting every species of bird they see. The information they collect will be sent on to the Audubon Society to help them keep track of bird populations within the region. The Christmas bird count has a long history in Colorado and across the country. It's just one of the ways Cortez residents show their enthusiasm for bird watching every year. Another is the annual Ute Mountain Mesa Verde Birding Festival. Visitors from as far away as Australia and Hawaii have traveled to Cortez to participate in the festival, which has compiled a list of more than 240 species during the past 12 years. The next festival is tentatively scheduled for May 2017. In the fall, many Four Corners bird species migrate south, some going as far as Argentina, but many species stick around even when the colder temperatures and snow set in. Year-round avian residents include the northern flicker, Lewis woodpecker, stellars or scrub jays, spotted towhee, and white-breasted nuthatch. Dark-eyed juncos, gray-crowned rosy finches, and mountain chickadees descend from alpine habitats into lower elevations, while a species like the northern shrike might arrive as a migrant from far northern regions. Robins and bluebirds often take refuge within protective arroyos, canyons, and valleys, while some raptors head south for the winter. Golden eagles, ferruginous hawks, and red-tailed hawks continue to soar over open fields. A sharp-shinned hawk might perch near a feeder. Bald eagles congregate around open water to fish or snag a duck. Winter waterfowl lists can include bufflehead, common goldeneye, green-winged teal, mergansers, and a canvasback. A birder in the right place at the right time might add pygmy owl, gray jay, Clark's nutcracker, common redpoll, and snow geese to a winter's list. Sandhill cranes headed towards playa wetlands around Wilcox, Arizona, have passed through the Four Corners around Christmas. As in many seasons, weather patterns influence what species a birdwatcher can spot, as well as when and where they'll appear. Birding has always been important to this region. The first birding records within the Four Corners area dates back to the 1880s. While stationed at Fort Lewis on the La Plata River, C.F. Morrison documented the species he observed from mountain elevations to lowland habitats. In the first decade of the 20th century, M.F. Gilman added many Montezuma County species to Colorado's avian records. In 1900, the Audubon Society launched its first official winter bird count. Known today as the Christmas bird count, this annual event provides critical data pertinent to species viability within designated regions. During set hours, teams of birders scour pre-established map segments to count every species and bird observed. Data compiled from searches, like the one in Cortez, provide insights into the stability of local resident populations, the influx of new species, absence of common species, and other factors that support an overall understanding of the distribution and well-being of avian populations throughout North America. Participants in the Cortez Christmas bird count should arrive at the Cortez Cultural Center between 7:30 and 7:40 a.m. for team and route assignments. Start time for the count will be at 8 a.m. at the latest. Jason St. Pierre will be the coordinator this year and will provide all participants with maps of good bird watching locations. You can contact him at 248-245-3081 or call the Cortez Cultural Center to leave a callback message at 970-565-1151 extension 14. The Volunteer Planning Committee for the 2017 Ute Mountain Mesa Verde Birding Festival meets every other Thursday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. upstairs at the Cortez Cultural Center. Upcoming dates are December 15th, January 5th, and January 19th. Anyone interested in assisting may attend. To view local birding observations and photos posted on Facebook, search Birding Four Corners. Reports from previous Christmas bird counts can be found at the Cortez Public Library.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of November 28th through December 4th. A deputy assisted Colorado State Patrol on a vehicle versus deer accident on Highway 141. A deputy responded to a local residence for a report of a domestic disturbance. Officers diffused the situation. Officers responded to a report of a barricaded subject making violent threats. Subject was also making suicidal threats. After an 8-hour standoff with the assistance of the Cortez Police Department SWAT team, the subject was removed from the residence. Subject was then taken into custody. Dispatch received a report of cattle on a public roadway. That's it for today's Roundup. Stay tuned for continuing updates.
For today's High Country happenings, the Anasazi Heritage Center is hosting an outdoor event Thursday, December 8th from 5 to 8:30 p.m. called Luminaria Night. With thousands of glowing luminarias to line the paths of the Escalante Pueblo, it should be spectacular, yet very cold. Event includes hot cocoa and cider, entertainment on the plaza, and free admission to the Anasazi Heritage Center exhibits. Parking, however, is limited, so multiple free shuttles will be running continuously from the Colorado Welcome Center on 928 East Main Street in Cortez for the entire evening. Please make plans to park there. No parking at the Heritage Center and no parking on the Highway 184. However, handicap parking is available. There will also be a pickup location at Joe Rowell Park in Dolores. Another Luminary Night will be happening at the Four Corners Seasons Greenhouse and Nursery, Saturday, December 10th from 5 to 9 p.m. Live music and refreshments, Santa, and hundreds of luminary make this family tradition the most magical night of the season. The schedule is set for 5 o'clock with the Southwest Singers, then 5:30 the Areola Bible Church Choir, 6 is the Community Band, 6:30 the MCHS Band, and 7:15 the MCHS Choir. Friday, December 16th from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Cortez Public Library, Mesa TV is hosting another Craftapalooza. For the holiday season, make some crafts to start out the season right and also take home a nice party favor. Other area organizations will be represented. The library is located at 202 North Park Street in Cortez and may be reached by calling 565-8117. And don't forget, tonight is the Rock Christmas Party. Come out and enjoy time with friends in the community. Toast up some marshmallows. All the happenings at the Rock Building on Highway 491 start at 5 p.m. And all of these happenings are posted up on the DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the embedded YouTube replays of the live show and the DCTV 5-day forecast. Email us at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 677-4119 and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. A reminder that this program is aired live at noon Monday through Wednesday, then rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m. and again aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 2:30, and 8 p.m. each day respectively.
And again, be sure to check out our Facebook page with original stories and all of the event details. Please like us there and share the link.
For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.